Right, so remember this, guys, my Engwe EP-2, which I've started doing some mods on. So go check out the other video if you haven't seen this. But this is basically a 750 watt fat bike, and I've started doing some mods on it. So I've done new handlebars because it's a folding bike, and obviously the normal handlebars kind of look a little bit like that. And you know, they don't look the best. So I'm really loving the look of it at the moment, but there's something else I want to change. And actually somebody in the comments mentioned a special kind of seat that you can get. So I wanted to check it out. So I talked about how cool this bike looks from the rear with that big chunky fat tyre and the seat. It reminded me of a kind of cafe racer style. So I've got one of these. So this, guys, is the Selle Royale Drifter. Look at the big springs it's got on it. And it's kind of like, it's not real leather, but it's basically like a kind of synthetic type thing. But I think you'll agree. I've got this weird feeling that this sort of thing is going to look really good on this bike. Obviously, you know, black, the scheme is black, but I think there's a little pop of brown on there, and I think that's going to make it look pretty good. And also how comfortable that actually feels, like a sort of, you know, you could sit on that for hours. I don't know yet, we'll have to give it a test. But so this bike uses quite a big saddle tube, and then it kind of tapers down to that, and I don't really like that because I want to be able to get this saddle a bit lower. Ideally I want it to be sitting quite low. Let's get this off of here. It is a beast, it is pretty heavy. So, I mean, you know, I'm not realistically not going to be able to get it that low, but it does look pretty cool. Let's take this old one off. I've actually got to get all my tools and stuff from the old house because I want to sort of set up a bit of a bike workshop over here. You know, like have a section here where I can actually, I don't know where it's going to be, but but basically, yeah, just a section where I can kind of work on stuff. Maybe I can just use this wall here. But then also I'm going to have a little RC car track in here. I think I can fit it all in. Right, so I've got the bracket off and I just sort of test fitting it on the saddle. There's a little sort of bit of metal there that's kind of designed to stop this tube going in too far. Which is going to limit how low I'm going to be able to get this saddle. I do really want to get it down as low as possible, so it kind of gives it that low down, low rider sort of style. So I've actually nicked this Fido seat post, which is actually that's got a pump built in. You unscrew the end of that. It is a little bit long. It's going to come out, you know, I've done this before and it kind of comes out where that metal bracket is. But yeah, that'll get me a little bit closer to where I need to be, because obviously we've got the you know, a lower profile mount. I actually way prefer these mounts as well. So yeah, that's the bike it came off anyway, the little Fido. I love this little bike, it's actually really good, so I'm gonna have to figure out another solution for that. Anyway, come off a lot easier than the other ones. Right, I'm going full angle and as far back as I can get it on there. Just try that as a starting point and see what it feels like. Ooh. That is a long tube, isn't it? Get it down. Well, it's not as low as I thought it would be, but I think it'll be alright. I'm liking it. Drifter. How cool is that? Oh yeah. You know what? I like that. That's got a bit of suspension as well. And there's obviously massive springs, aren't they? Look at them move. I don't know if you can see that. That is crazy. Look how chunky it looks from the front as well. That is so sick. Still need to get some spacers for here. It's looking proper mean though, isn't it now? Just needs a bit of power to back it up. So what's going to happen there is I'm actually going to fit a 1500 watt geared 48 volt setup. So this is going to rip. I'm waiting for the kits to arrive, but I think it's basically going to be something similar to this. See the size of that motor on there? Be something like that. And then those kits will be available in the store as well, so you guys can build one of these or something similar if you want. This feels wicked. It feels so comfortable. It's like, literally like sitting on a motorcycle seat, really. Yeah, I'm loving that. Giving me like hints of spring. It's a bit cold though. I can't wait till the summer, guys. Can't wait. It could be be argued that this bike actually has enough power. Depends what you want. So, what do we think then? I think you know what I'm going to say. Absolutely love it. Great little mod. It makes a lot of difference to the aesthetics of it. That just looks so cool. I love it. And obviously just being that bit wider, it's just going to be that much more comfortable for doing long range stuff. That's the thing about riding e-bikes versus motorcycles or mopeds. You know, the seats are just so much more comfortable and the riding position is so much more comfortable on mopeds. Obviously on mopeds, you know, you don't pedal. Well, technically a moped is a pedal thing, but you know, obviously you're supposed to be pedaling, you know, not just using throttle, but you know how that rolls. So it gives a nice lot of support. I was noticing the springs, not too much, you know, it wasn't kind of like bouncing around everywhere, but it was just giving you enough comfort, ironing out the bumps. But of course, you know, this hasn't got rear suspension, so the tyres do a lot of that work anyway. And it's such a nice riding bike. It really is, across, you know, all sort of terrain. Anyway guys, we'll see how it holds up long term. It is a good, you know, it's a good brand, so it should do. It wasn't particularly cheap, wasn't particularly expensive. It was about 35 quid or whatever, which isn't too bad for a seat, especially something, you know, a bit bigger and a bit more special than an average saddle. Anyway guys, I'll leave the link in the description for you so you can have a look at it and decide, you know, what you think, and I'll report back to you and see how it goes. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget, like, subscribe, do the usual stuff. I'll catch you in the next one.